Hello students. Ecology is the study of interactions among the organisms and between the organisms and their physical or biotic environment. So in the chapter organisms and population, we'll discuss about the role of organisms in the environment, or what are the major abiotic factors, adaptations, then population and population interaction. So listen carefully. First, what is meant by organisms? So organisms is the individual, which is the basic unit of ecological hierarchy, and population means organisms of same kind inhabiting a geographical area, and community means several populations of different species in a particular area makes a community. And biome means a large regional terrestrial unit delimited by a specific climatic zone with typical major vegetation and associated fauna. So remember the concept like organisms, then population, community, ecosystem, biome, and then whole biosphere. Basically in ecology, organismic level consists of its physiology, the ways of adaptation to the surrounding environment, survival techniques and propagation. Actually, the rotation of earth along with the tidal axis causes the seasons. See, due to seasons there are rain, snow, which demarcate the major biomes of the earth. For example, desert, then tropical rainforest, temperate forest, conifers, then grassland, tundra. There are 6 major terrestrial biomes. And ethology is one of the branch which study of behavior of animals in relation to their environment. So the term coined by the Hillary, and bionomics is also one of the term. So bionomics is the study of relation between organisms to their environment. And environmental biology, which is the modern ecology, the study of functional or physiological interrelationship between the organisms and their surroundings. And whole biosphere means all ecosystems on earth, they constitutes biosphere. So once again listen carefully about the first individual. See, the individual means organisms. Individual, which is the basic unit of ecological hierarchy, is called organisms. Then population, organisms of same kind inhabiting a geographical area is called as population. Okay. Community, remember community means what? Community, the several populations of different species in a particular area makes a community. Then ecosystem, ecosystem, basically the ecosystem, different community, they unites together and form ecosystem in a simple language. Later on we'll discuss in detail about the ecosystems. And the biome, so large regional terrestrial unit, they delimited by a specific climatic zone with typical major vegetation. It's called biome. And whole biosphere means all ecosystem on earth, they unites or constitute a biosphere. Okay. So now the first we are going to discuss about the habitat and niche. So habitat means, remember, habitat is the physical space occupied by an organism or place, area where a particular species lives is called as habitat. And there are different factors they affecting on habitat, like sunlight, averages, rainfall, annual temperature. And there are different types of habitats like terrestrial, aquatic, aerial. Small part of the habitat which forms immediate surroundings of an organism is called as microhabitat. And niche is the another term, that is a functional space occupied by an organism. Means each and every organism, they play a functional role in an ecosystem or in an environment. That functional role is called as niche. So remember the difference between habitat and niche. So habitat is the physical space occupied by an organism, and niche is the functional role or functional space occupied by an organism in the ecosystem. So same habitat may be shared by many species, but a single niche is occupied by a single species, because the functional role played by an organism in its environment, niche includes the various aspects of the life of an organism, like diet, shelter, or its link with physical and biological environment. Okay. And there are three types of niche. Listen. First one, spatial or habitat niche, means a physical space occupied by an organism. Second is the tropical niche. Tropical niche means the basis of trophic level of an organism in a food chain. You know very well about the food chain. Then multidimensional or hypervolume niche means the number of biotic and abiotic factors on the space or hypervolume, or the position of an organism in the environmental gradient. The abiotic factors means the temperature, water, light, etc. So now next we are going to discuss the different abiotic factors. So the abiotic factors, which is the key abiotic factors, like water, light, and all this soil. So first remember the temperature. The first abiotic factor is the temperature. And ecologically relevant environmental factors showing the seasonal variation. So progressive decrease of the temperature from the equator towards the poles and from plains towards the mountain tops. So in polar areas and at high altitude below 0 degrees Celsius temperature. In tropical desert more than 50 degrees Celsius temperature in summer. So they show variation. And in a thermal spring the temperature is 80 to 100 degrees Celsius. In deep sea hypothermal vents about 400 degrees Celsius temperature. So the distribution of animals and plants species is mainly dependent on the temperature. So animals are geographically distributed according to their levels of thermal tolerance. So temperature can affect the kinetics of enzyme in the body and thus alter the basal metabolism, organism's activity and other physiological functions. And in the temperature, you remember the euthermal animals means what, or what is meant by these euthermal animals. Euthermal organisms means the organisms that can tolerate a wide range of temperature fluctuation. Okay, and remember some examples like cat and dogs. And then remember stenothermal organisms means what? The organisms they restricted to a narrow range of temperature are called as stenothermal organism. Like fish and reptiles, remember the example. The second abiotic factor, the example of thermal spring, the second abiotic factor is the water. So water is most important factor influencing the life of organism, because life of an organism totally depends on water, and life on earth originated in water and can sustain only due to water. So this availability of water changes according to the geographical regions, and it also decides the productivity and distribution of the plants. Even for aquatic organisms, the chemical composition and pH of water are important qualities. Then salinity or salt concentration is the unit of salinity is parts per thousand, the percentage. So the inland waters, the salinity is less than 5%. Then in sea water it is 30 to 35%. Then in hypersaline lagoons it is 100%. Then again in water, you remember the concept like urehaline organisms and stenohaline organisms. So urehaline organism is the organisms that can tolerate a wide range of salinities. The example are green crabs, see the diagram. And the stenohaline organism means what? The organisms that are restricted to a narrow range of salinity. An example is goldfish, see here. So many freshwater animals cannot live for long in sea water, and vice versa, because of the osmotic problems they will face. Okay. Then the next abiotic factor is light. So sunlight is the ultimate source of energy. Photosynthesis depends upon the availability of sunlight, hence the autotrophs. It is a very essential abiotic factors. Species of herbs and shrubs growing in the forest and are adapted to photosynthesis even under very low light conditions, because they are constantly under a canopy of tall trees. So flowering of plants is dependent on sunlight to meet their photoperiodic requirement of the plants. And in animals, the diurnal and seasonal rhymes are dependent on the sunlight. So foraging, reproductive and migratory activities of animals depends upon the photoperiod. So the availability of light on the land is closely linked with the temperature, since the sun is the source of both. So now next we are going to discuss the soil, which is the fourth abiotic factors. So climate of a place determines the nature and the properties of the soil. The weathering process and the type of soil, that is sedimentary or transported, the pattern of soil development, soil composition, grain size differs from place to place. Therefore, the soil characteristics are also varied. And the percolation and water holding capacity of the soil depends upon the soil composition, aggregation of particles and grain size. And the vegetation in many areas is dependent upon soil parameters such as pH, mineral composition and topography Based on these characteristics, the vegetation and the faunal pattern is seen. So the sediment, the characteristic in the aquatic environment, determines the type of resident benthic animals. So the biotic factors change due to diurnal and seasonal variation, and for survival of organism adapt to this variation in the different ways, like regulate, conform, migrates and suspends. So now we'll see the different ways for the survival of organism, how they adapt. To regulate means they maintain homeostasis by thermoregulation and osmoregulation. And the physiological and behavioral changes are shown by which body processes are regulated. So that's why the organisms can adapt in a new climatic condition because of homeostasis. You know, the homeostasis means when external environment change, they having ability to change internal environment constant. Next one, conform. They cannot maintain a constant internal environment. So body temperature or osmotic concentration keep on changing with environment in limited range of condition. So they simply conform. Okay. Then migrate. So temporarily moving away from this stressful habitat, returning back when conditions changes. You know very well the example of winter migration of the birds. And the suspend means reducing the metabolic activities and going into a state of dormancy, like a dormant seeds of plant. Then hibernation, winter sleep, or estivation, summer sleep in animals. You know very well the organisms suspend the life activities. So the adaptation means adaptation enable the organism to survive and reproduce in its habitat, means the cope up with the extreme variation in their environment. And adaptation are of three types, like physiological adaptation, behavioral adaptation, morphological adaptation. Okay. So first listen about the morphological adaptation. Morphological adaptation means the thick cuticle on leaf surfaces, sunken stomata. You know, in 11th science in the chapter photosynthesis, the minimizing the loss of water through the transpiration. Then physiological adaptation means physiological thermoregulation and osmoregulation. Behavioral adaptation means like migration, hibernation. These are the behavioral adaptation. Or a best example, like a desert lizard, they bask in the sun and absorb heat when temperature is cold, move in shade when the ambient temperature is more, and now sometimes burrowing into the sand for escaping heat. Okay, so these are some adaptation. Now the next topic is population. Now population is the group of organisms in well defined geographical area which shares or compete for similar resources and which potentially interbreed with each other is called as population. So remember, population simply the group of organisms but a well defined geographical area which shares or compete for similar resources and which potentially interbreed with each other is called as population. So at the population level, natural selection operates and desired traits are evolved. So the population ecology is an important area of ecology that links ecology to population dynamics, genetics and evolution. So the basic physical characteristics of population are called as population attributes. And remember, the first one, natality, means what? So natality, the birth rate of population. Okay, and the crude birth rate used for calculating the population size, that is number of birth per 1000 population per year, and the specific birth rate used when a specific criteria on such as age has to be considered. Then absolute natality, the number of births under ideal condition when there is no competition and resources such as food and water are abundant. Okay. Then realized natality means the number of births when environmental pressures are operating on the population. So remember, the natality means what? The birth rate of a population, that is crude birth rate. Simply they are used for calculating the population size, means number of birth per 1000 population per year. Okay. Next one, mortality. So mortality means the death rate of population. Means absolute mortality means a number of deaths under the ideal condition when there is no competition and resources like food and water, they are abundant. And realized mortality means the number of deaths when environmental pressures are operating on the population. So absolute mortality will always be less than realized mortality. Okay. So in next video we will discuss the sex ratio and the age distribution and age pyramids and the population interaction. Okay. Thank you.